the fragile connection. Ethan Callahan lived in a world of precision. As the founder of a high-tech company, his life was governed by logic, data, and the absolute need to control outcomes. His home, a sleek, glass-walled structure overlooking the city, was a testament to his success. However, 2 years ago, the foundation of this life had cracked when his wife Anna passed away after a long illness. She left behind their 2-year-old son Noah, and a silence that Ethan could not solve. Noah was diagnosed with autism, and with that diagnosis, the vibrant, noisy household Ethan once knew transformed into a cold museum of echoes. Noah did not speak, did not meet his father's eyes, and spent his days in a private world that Ethan couldn't access. Despite hiring the best therapists and behavioral specialists, Noah remained locked away. Ethan, who had always viewed challenges as engineering problems to be optimized, found himself facing an enigma that refused to be solved. He grew impatient, pushing for routines, speech therapy, and rigid schedules, hoping that structure would break the barrier. Instead, the harder he tried to fix his son, the further Noah retreated. The household became a revolving door of nannies. 7 women had come and gone in less than a year. All of them arrived with impressive credentials, degrees in psychology and specialized training, yet all left within months, drained by the impenetrable silence of the house. Ethan, cold and efficient, dismissed each failure as a professional inadequacy. To him, the house was a place of work, not comfort. Then came Grace Turner. She was not a specialist, nor did she have an impressive resume. She was a housekeeper, hired to clean the floors and fold the laundry. Grace didn't ask about Noah. She didn't offer unsolicited advice, and she certainly didn't try to force a connection. She moved through the house like a soft breeze, quiet and unobtrusive. While Ethan barely registered her presence, Noah did. Grace's approach was radical because it lacked any agenda. When she found Noah staring at light reflections under the dining table, she didn't pull him out or call his name. She simply sat on the opposite side of the room, continuing her work with a steady, rhythmic grace. She hummed low, melodic tunes that provided a background to the house's heavy silence. When Noah once threw a wet cloth at her, she didn't flinch. She simply picked it up, wrung it out, and resumed her task, acknowledging his action without judgment. Through these small, non-invasive acts, Grace became a fixture in Noah's landscape rather than an intruder. One ordinary afternoon, the sunlight cast long, golden beams across the living room carpet. Grace was organizing Noah's wooden blocks, and Noah was sitting nearby, leaning against the couch. For a fleeting second, the boy shifted. His weight pressed into the floor, and his head tilted, his attention fully centered on Grace. She stayed perfectly still, offering him a gentle, open smile. With a grace that stunned the air, Noah pushed himself up. First on his knees, then, with trembling legs, onto his feet. He took one step toward her, then another. Ethan, walking through the front door at that exact moment, froze. He watched as his son reached out and fell not into a void, but into Grace's arms. It was the first time Noah had voluntarily moved toward another human being in years. That evening, Ethan was haunted by the image of his son in the arms of a woman he barely knew. He was deeply conflicted. Part of him was angry that his own methods had failed, while another part felt a desperate, raw relief. When he confronted Grace, asking why she had overstepped her role, she simply looked at him with quiet honesty. "I couldn't ignore it when I saw him trying," she said. It wasn't an apology, just a truth that pierced Ethan's defenses. As the days turned into weeks, a new ritual took shape. When the house grew quiet and the evening tension set in, Noah often struggled with restlessness. Grace began to soothe him, not with therapy techniques, but with a simple, humming lullaby. Ethan, initially suspicious, began lingering outside the nursery door. Night after night, he leaned against the hallway wall, listening. The music wasn't professional, but it held a warmth that seemed to thaw the ice surrounding his heart. He began to realize that the silence of the house was not just a lack of noise, but a lack of comfort. The turning point came on